you eating healthy? And we'll do some freestyling and open line to find out what's on your mind. Talk Today's next on Radio Cayman. 50 years strong. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden, and thank you for checking us out. Are you good? You having a good day? I hope so. All's well, I hope. Looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty nice afternoon, at least here in Georgetown. By the way, if you're looking to pick up a bargain, and we know bargains can be hard to come by in Cayman, right? Yeah. I mean, even people selling stuff for, secondhand stuff, kind of. They're just like, they're trying to squeeze every dollar out of it that they can. Yeah, I made this improvement on it, but so that's an extra $10. But yeah, it looks like, Saturday you might be able to pick up a bargain because the Customs and Border Control auction is taking place. Yes, an auction. You can bid on stuff, and you never know. Something that you really want, maybe no one else wants, and you pick it up with a very small bid there. It's probably some good stuff. It's, been sitting in the warehouse there. It's undeclared and seized goods. So, but here's a little sample of what they will have. They have electronics, they have clothing, shoes, office and school supplies. Might pick up some cheap paper or something, automotive parts. I guess that could be a little risky, buying a part for your car just on an auction like that, And once you buy it, you bought it. It's no, hey, this doesn't fit. Can I return it? No, it's yours once you put down the money. Automotive parts, accessories, and tools, cosmetics, beauty and fashion accessories, home, health, and fitness. So who knows what they have up there? You can probably find something really good. It's going to be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's in the parking lot at the Customs and Border Control headquarters on Owen Roberts Drive. That's up there by the airport. So just remember, though, if you have the winning bid, you have to pay then and there. You can't say, let me run and get the money. No, you got to ante up right there. You cash or credit or a card. And you got to be prepared to move it out right then. You can't come back for it. If it's something big, make sure you got the right vehicle to get it out of there. So check it out. You can probably find something good up there. From 10 to 2 on Saturday, parking lot at Customs and Border Control headquarters up at the airport. Well, the Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing and Midwifery at the University College of the Cayman Islands is hosting its second biennial International Nursing and Midwifery Research Symposium on April 9th. The theme is Advancing Quality and Resilience in Nursing and Midwifery, Addressing Mental Health and Modern Healthcare Challenges. Joining me now are Equita Johnson-Shirley, the Program Director of the Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing, and also Millicent Allen. She is the Senior Lecturer at the McLaughlin School of Nursing. Ladies, good afternoon. Welcome to our studio. At least in my mind, and I'm sure others too, when we talk about research in the medical field, we don't often associate nursing and research. We always think of that with new cures for diseases and that sort of thing. But what kind of research goes on with nursing?
I'm smiling because it's the heart of what we do. Thank you for having us. As you mentioned that question, I remember the mother of nursing, or should I say the grandmother of nursing, Florence Nightingale. And most of what she did was research, and that included hand washing technique, sanitation in keeping the environment clean, fresh air, what it does. So a part of our practice is evidence-based that comes from research. So what we have implemented and continue to do is research, and research has also updated the skills, the technique, the knowledge that is used in nursing. So as a discipline, nursing has its own body of research.
And you are there on the front line, so you're seeing things every day that you can observe and note. And
Yes, and might I add, research is a part of the curriculum for students. So our students also engage in research in order to fulfill their degree.
So they have to write a paper?
They have to, and it's normally... I'm hoping that these studies that we're doing will be published, because I'm telling Mrs. Johnson Shirley that there are some ways we need to get them out there, because these are studies that are done in the Cayman community on patients living here and the people in the community also, and they are topics that are relevant to the Cayman Islands.
Is it unique to Cayman?
Yes. Yes.
So,
yes, it is.
So then, you may be observing and seeing things that may not be happening in other places.
Yes, and it could be happening in other places, but it's a phenomenon here. So it's a good thing to see. Yes, it has been happening in X community, but how does that same phenomena that we're seeing, how does it apply in our community? How does it affect our people? What is the outcome? Is there anything new or different when we compare the two societies together? What is emerging? Even though they've been using Y to treat X, can we use that, or do we need to adopt something else for our population? So research is very vital and critical to nursing.
All right, we're going to take a little break here, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the motoring public of emergency works to repair a main line along Eastern Avenue from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. today, Tuesday, March 24th. To facilitate the works, a section of the eastbound lane of Eastern Avenue in the vicinity of the Eastern Avenue Godfrey Nixon Way intersection will be temporarily closed. Eastbound traffic on Eastern Avenue will be diverted to Godfrey Nixon Way. Flagmen will be on site to guide traffic flow. Motorists are strongly encouraged to drive with caution while in the area. A water service interruption may be necessary to facilitate the repair. Customers should visit the Water Authority's website, www.waterauthority.ky, for updates on service interruptions caused by the emergency works. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it repairs its infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
How much you need to move depends on which stage of life you're in. Children and adolescents ages 16 to 17 should engage in 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity daily, such as running, climbing, and jumping rope. Whereas seniors aged 65 and over should aim for at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity, such as brisk walking, along with strength training and balance activities at least 2 days a week. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Log on to gov.ky/Move It Cayman to join the challenge today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and I am speaking to Quita Johnson-Shirley and Melissa Allen about the second biennial International Nursing and Midwifery Research Symposium that is going to be held at the University College. The theme for the symposium is Advancing Healthcare Through Research, UCCI's Nursing and Midwifery Research Symposium. What is behind that theme? Let's explore that a little bit.
All right, so the theme is Advancing Quality and Resilience in Nursing and Midwifery, Addressing Mental Health and Modern Healthcare Challenges. So we know that we went through COVID and a lot has changed since that pandemic. We're exploring how we can help our nurses to be more resilient mentally and also in their practice, given that we now have a lot on the internet, a lot of information out there, and the nurses are also faced with short staffing. They're also facing the economic burden of chronic diseases and also the economic burden of just financing healthcare. So we want to explore these areas so that nurses can use the evidence that will be displayed or presented on that day to help them in their nursing practice. The mental health and modern healthcare challenges, we know that we have that challenge here in the Cayman Islands, and globally it's a problem. It's a healthcare challenge overall, and so we have studies, we have presenters who will look on mental health, and Miss Allen can speak further to those presentations. But research is the way to help nurses in their practice and also in education, and that's one of the reasons why we do it within our curriculum at UCCI.
So this symposium is really aimed at the nurses themselves as far as the challenges they face in their profession. I mean, I know it can be very stressful. You're right there on the front lines dealing with the emergencies, and also sometimes you work long shifts.
All right, so the target audience are nurses, midwives, but healthcare professionals in general. And it doesn't matter where you are working. So whether you are at the hospital or in a clinic, you can attend the symposium. So doctors, pharmacists, allied health, phlebotomists, they can attend.
Who will be speaking, presenting papers at this symposium? Where are they coming from?
So at the symposium, we have persons here from the Cayman Islands, from Canada, and from the USA that will be presenting at the symposium. We have some very good studies coming out of the Cayman Islands, I must add, and they are really relevant topics to us that will engage the population. And we can also see that even though we're talking about artificial intelligence, how does it impact care that is given? How can we utilize it? And another thing, AI is something that we are in the age of AI, but even though we've been using it a lot, how does it affect us mentally? So some of those issues will be spoken to. And there is another one. It's not nurses per se, but it's from EMS firefighters, and it looks at their stress levels and working long shifts. So even though it is nursing and midwifery, the topics that will be presented does not only pertain to nurses. Anyone that's working in the health field, they will also have to work long shifts. They will have to use AI. How does it affect their mental illness? We have these platforms. How are we using it to engage our patients in seeking health care? So I must add too that we have our past students who will also be presenting at this symposium, which we are very, very proud of.
Well, tell us a little bit about the challenges that healthcare workers and nurses in particular face.
All right. And let me tell you, internationally, globally, you mentioned some of them, long hours. Sometimes they have to work weekends and public holidays, so their family don't see them as much, or they can't. It's like you're there at work a lot of times, understaffed wherever we go, and that's a global phenomenon globally. And you have persons like when you go to the US, they're coming out of nursing, going into other professions. So now that we have an aging population to deal with, and a population with more chronic health diseases that put more demand on nursing. So what can we do? We have to look at what can we do in order to be efficient. Even though we're training and more nurses are coming out, the demand to fill what is needed is still lacking. So the burden is really heavy in nursing.
Would you like to add to that?
So some of the challenges that nurse experience are when you look at patient education from the internet. So sometimes a lot of sometimes people would want to treat themselves based on what is happening on the internet, or they may be following a social media site and those persons aren't trained. So when the person follows those information, which is not credible, they then come to the hospital sometimes in a more in a worse state than they would have been if they had sought help earlier. And one of the research projects that will be presented will look at how persons within the Cayman Islands seek health information and which website are they using to get this information. So that is one area. Some of the other challenges is insurance, paying for health care, where based on the type of insurance you may have, it may be affordable and with the copay. So some persons may stay away from healthcare as well because they can't afford it.
With all the information that people can get by going online, I mean, you mentioned AI. I mean, all you have to do is put in a disease and you can, read for days on it, right? And I tell you, if I hear one more cure for high blood pressure, that you don't have to go to the doctor, you can just, boil this leaf or take this powder, and you'll lower your blood pressure. Is that a battle for you to, make sure people are doing right by themselves?
It is a battle. I normally say to my students, I'm all for alternative medicine, but you can't just practice it in silos. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm using that remedy at home, whether it be garlic, whether it be cayenne pepper, I don't know the dosage, I don't know the frequency, nor do I know the duration. So I'm just going to sprinkle, take, And then I might be combining my traditional medications that I've been given, or I might exclude them without monitoring myself. So by the time the patient returns to the hospital, as Mrs. Johnson Shirley said, they're in a worse state than when you discharge them, because now they're in a hypertensive crisis, or they have stroke, because many patients don't want to take the medications because of the side effects. So they do their natural therapy, not knowing that it can harm them. Not that it's bad, but you don't do that without monitoring yourself to see what's the outcome. So in taking these things, you must be seen by your doctor to know your numbers.
Yeah, but you got to base it on some facts, right?
Yes, and as you said, patients have access to information and they are assimilating this plethora of data and information. But one of the things we do as nurses, we give individualized care. So not all the information might be appropriate for you based on your lifestyle, based on your needs, based on your body mechanism. So that's something that we have to look at as it relates to treatment. The way you treat your hypertension, it's not the same way I might treat my hypertension or Miss Shirley's. Our needs are different, and that's one of the things we do. Individualized nursing care. So it's not like the internet that gives you all this information and overwhelm you. We're coming to assess you, to ask you some questions, to do the labs, look at them, what are they saying, putting it together so that you can have a better outcome.
And I just want to interject that the internet, all of the technology that we have, they're good, but it's how we use them and how we're going to sift the information to make it appropriate for ourselves. And I'm always teased at work that AI will replace nursing, but based on what Miss Allen said, we are irreplaceable.
Yeah, because you can't take that human element out of nursing, right?
Yes.
One of the points that are going to be covered in the symposium is community health. Nurses play a big part in community health.
Yes, they do. I must allude to that because one of the research being presented will be on community health, and it was a research that was done here in the Cayman Islands on management of diabetes by a nurse who has been certified in diabetic education. So I would love for us to come and see how we can implement that as a part of practice to make our patients having better outcomes as it relates to managing their chronic disease like diabetes mellitus.
And healthcare resilience and workforce well-being. Tell us a little bit about that aspect of it.
Presentations. Sorry. All right. So workforce. Repeat your question for me, Mr. Charles.
Healthcare resilience and workforce well-being. That's going to be one of the featured.
Yes. So that will come under the area of mental health.
Yes.
Right. So we do have presenters who will speak to mental health, allowing for nurses to see how best that they can cope and manage in this dynamic life that we live, as well as Miss Allen did mention about, this was not a presenter for the nurse, former nurse, but it's a EMS firefighter who will also look at mental health challenges from that area of healthcare.
We have to take a little break, so we'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Got something on your mind that you want to share?
You can send a text,
send a voice note,
or even request a song. Go on, give it a try. Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today. And get active with Radio Cayman. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram,
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Ready to launch your career in hospitality?
If you're an ambitious young Caymanian, the DART Hospitality Training Program is your opportunity to shine.
This paid 4-month program gives you hands-on experience at world-class properties like Kimpton Seafire, the Ritz-Carlton, Hotel Indigo, Hampton by Hilton, and Bonnie Moon Beach Club.
Plus, DART has partnered with Lynn University to deliver an intensive 2-week hospitality curriculum from an accredited institution.
Gain real-world experience, learn from the industry leaders, and open doors to full-time careers in hospitality.
Applications close April 6, 2026, with programs starting May 2026.
Apply now at dart.ky/hospitality.
What matters most to you right now? The cost of living, housing, jobs, healthcare, safety? The Cayman Islands government has set 7 national priorities for 2026 to 2028, focused on areas that affect daily life, from preparing Caymanians for opportunity, to improving quality of life and social stability, to strengthening Cayman's long-term resilience. Learn more about the 7 broad outcomes at gov.ky/priorities. 7 priorities, 1 Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're hearing about the International Nursing and Midwifery Research Symposium that's going to be happening at University College on April 9th. What does these kind of symposiums do for the school, the university, the School of Nursing, as far as prestige and recognition when you have these symposiums here?
Right. So, as I said, it's a second one that we're hosting, and for schools of nursing and universities in general, having research, and this is not just collecting or using other person's information. These papers that will be presented are people who have gone out and collected data. They have identified a population, whether it's here in the Cayman Islands or wherever they're coming from. So we have presenters from Canada. So this helps to elevate these. This is, should I say, new information?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or
additional information. So this research is evidence-based that helps with our practice in nursing. It helps to elevate the standard of the profession and the university and the School of Nursing, because research is what should I say? Research is something that is always ongoing. And if you're not doing it, it's as if you're being left behind. And so we decided that we want to elevate the Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing through showcasing ourselves with this research conference. And we think that hosting this will help us to be recognized not just locally, but internationally, because we have presenters from Canada. Our guest speaker is coming from the U.S., Miss Sandra McLean, who is the CEO and Vice President of Baptist Health International. And so when you have this collaborative effort, when you have collaboration with persons from different institutions and different countries, it does elevate your program. It does build collaboration and allow you to see what others are doing. And it gives you a standard to know, do I need to improve or don't? Or what am I doing that I can do or I'm not doing and I need to do? So yes, research does help the school, the university college, and the School of Nursing.
And might I add before you go, Mrs. Johnson Shirley, it adds to the curriculum, standardizing it and equating it with any other universities, whether within the Caribbean region or internationally, as it relates to evidence-based practice being a part of the curriculum.
We do have a caller that wants to join in the conversation here. Can you put on your headphones and we can take that call? Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes. You have a question?
I have a comment.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, concerning high blood pressure. When I was found to have high blood pressure, I was told by one doctor that I had to stay on the tablets for the rest of my life. Then I was told by another doctor that if I did my exercise and ate certain foods, that I could come off the high blood pressure tablets. And for the last 2 months now, I have been off high blood pressure tablets, and my blood pressure is normal. I have been exercising, sometimes walking for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. I have been eating certain foods and vegetables and drinking certain drinks and praying and fasting. And right now my blood pressure is still normal. And I no longer need to use any more high blood pressure tablets. Thank you.
Good for you.
Yes, well done, sir.
Yes.
We are happy for you. And of course, we're not saying you can't come off those medications, because that is what it would be best for everyone, to get off those medications. While that is workable for you, it may not be the same. And I encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, because that is a lifestyle change that we need to implement in our lives to remove some of these conditions, or to come off some of these medications that we take. And also encourage you to keep follow up with your doctor's appointment, because that is also critical, because while at this stage you're off it, there are other things that can lead to the blood pressure going up, stress, change in sleep habits. So keep your follow-up appointments. And of course, if you're using lifestyle changes to treat yourself, treat your hypertension, we know that is the first goal, the first move that you need to make to ensure that you reduce that high blood pressure. But we are also saying that there are times when other persons will need to balance both that lifestyle and that medication as well.
Often it's how severe the case is also, right? Whether you can actually manage that on your own.
Yes.
And the cause of the hypertension.
Yeah.
And the comorbidities. So sometimes the person may have hypertension with other heart conditions, diabetes. So it is individualized, but congratulations to him.
Yes.
And have discipline. You got to have some discipline if you're going to do it without the meds. So let's get some details on exactly when this is happening. I know it's April 9th. Where is it going to be held?
It's going to be held in the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall on the campus, UCCI campus. We start at 8 a.m. officially, and we have breakfast at 7:30, but the opening ceremony starts at 8 a.m. until 5 p.m.
And it's open to all healthcare workers, is that right?
Yes, it's open to all healthcare workers.
Mm-hmm. Suppose someone would just like to come and attend, but they're not healthcare. Is that possible, or is it by invitation? How?
All right. Certainly they can come over. They don't have to be healthcare, because it's research. It's open to any area. But it's just that because we're focusing on healthcare a lot with the topics. But they can come to get registered. They would have to go online to UCCI's website, www.ucci.edu.ky. And when they go on the page, Nursing Symposium is right there at the top to the right, and they click on it and they can go to the registration page.
How would you say that this improves healthcare in the Cayman Islands? The symposium, having these symposiums here.
Right.
These symposium really do improve practice because whatever, for instance, I'm going to say the one with the diabetic educator, that is something that is implemented as a part of their practice for their patients in order for patients to manage their glucose levels. So the things that we'll be presenting are things that can be implemented into practice in order to better our patients and even healthcare workers. So we're not only focusing on, the studies are not only focusing on patients, they're also focusing on healthcare workers.
Mm-hmm. And again, how does that help the healthcare worker to do a better job? All
right. So with the findings that will be presented, they can use it in their practice. As Ms. Allen mentioned, that back in the days, Florence Nightingale did research on hand washing. So now with what we're presenting, say, for example, we talk about mental health with firefighters, EMS, and based on those findings, then it doesn't apply only to that category, but everybody else can look at the research data and say, okay, critically analyze it and see if it applies and how effective it will be for me or for them, and utilize it for themselves, because healthcare is challenging. We spoke about the challenges. And so if you can take care of your mental health, then you are better able to take care of patients. So that is one critical area that will be helpful to those persons who are attending. Also, apart from the presenters, there is the possibility of collaboration. So socialization is one key thing that helps anybody. It helps with your mood. And when you can collaborate with persons, even your own colleagues whom you haven't seen in a while, you'll see persons from the medical field, from pharmacy. This will help you again. And with this current research, if you collaborate with them, then you can identify what is it that they're doing. Is it working for you, and how you can implement it in another organization. And this may lower the costs for patients in terms of management. It might be more of a lifestyle, or based on the evidence produced, then they can use it to say, okay, this works for my organization. It's cost effective for patients, and I can go ahead with it.
It's a society like Cayman compared to some big cities, I mean, you have to kind of give and take there when you're sharing this kind of information of what could work here in Cayman compared to a big major city and a huge hospital.
I can't give away too much of the presenters. Research, but I can assure you that most of the researches that will be presented are situations that are applicable here. Because even the one that we talk about in the EMS, it's here. Even though the study was not done in the Cayman Islands, it was done in other Caribbean territories. The one that our student did, it's right here in the Caribbean. The one on AI and anxiety, it's right here in the Caribbean, right here in the Cayman Islands. So even those that are coming from overseas, their research is applicable in our situation because we do use social media platforms.
Real quick, what's the website address that people could go to for more information and register?
www.ucci.edu.ky, and then the Nursing Symposium page is on there on the front page. the first page.
And it's free of cost.
That's the great one. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Mr. Charles, do you have a few seconds? I want to...
A few seconds.
Yes. Let me recognize our sponsors, Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability, Baptist Health International, Doctors Hospital, Rosterick Central, Grand Cayman, Foster's, Cosulates, Scott Security, Ministry of Education and Training. So I just want to say thank you to them.
And with that, let's go to the newsroom.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Always love. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The Water Authority Cayman is carrying out emergency works to repair a main line on Eastern Avenue today. They started at 10 a.m. and they will keep going until 3 p.m. Part of the eastbound lane near the Eastern Avenue Godfrey-Nixon Way intersection is closed, with traffic being diverted onto Godfrey-Nixon Way. The public is urged to drive with caution. In international news, Volkswagen is in talks with Israel's Rafael Advanced Defense Systems on a deal that would shift production at one of its factories from cars to missile defense, the Financial Times reports, citing people familiar with the plan. In other international news, Bahrain has suffered one of its worst attacks of the war after an Iranian missile hit a military base on the west side of the island. The attack on Hamala base killed a United Arab Emirates military contractor, a Moroccan national, and injured over a dozen others, including 4 in critical condition. A senior Gulf official called it a, quote, dangerous escalation. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbetts. As a young boy, he attended Weston Primary School, then later Gainstead High School in Jamaica, when the family moved there to be closer to his dad, who was chief engineer on Colonel ships. During school breaks, he would work at Hannah's haberdashery store as a wrapper. Wanting to be a seaman and engineer like his dad, shortly after his 16th birthday, Royce would join his dad on the Colonel ship, the Kirk Pride, as a messman, later working on other Colonel ships for Bawden Shipping on the Merkel, National Boat Carriers, West Indian Towing Company, and West Indian Lines. Mr. Dilbert would enroll at National Technical School, and at age 25, he achieved his chief engineer license. By this time, Royce had worked his way up the ranks from BR messman to wiper oiler, fireman, second and first engineer to chief engineer.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Hi, this is Michael Webster, longtime supporter and sponsor of Radio Cayman. I'd like to say a big happy 50th anniversary to Radio Cayman. I remember 30 plus years ago listening to my grandfather Roy Bodden playing country music and bluegrass music on Radio Cayman. Happy 50th anniversary.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And let's take a look at the weather here, the current conditions. 82 degrees in Georgetown, feels like 86. Wind out of the east-northeast at about 15.5 knots. And the forecast calls for partly cloudy skies straight through tonight, with winds out of the northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. And seas are rough, moderate to rough, with heights of 4 to 6 feet. And you boaters should note that there still is a small craft advisory in effect. Well, no guest in the studio right now. We will be having some at 1:30. But if you'd like to give me a call, 1-800-534-8255. That's toll-free, courtesy of Flo. Other numbers, 949-8037, 949-6990, and WhatsApp. You can reach us on WhatsApp 925-3261. Well, yesterday well, before I get into that, let me take the call. We just got a call here. So, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Charles, you sound lonely this afternoon.
Yes, I'm all by myself right now. Had two ladies here earlier, but right now all alone. What's up?
All alone. Not a lot. Charles, I wish sometime, I don't mean what I'm going to say in a negative or, meant to insult anyone or anything like that, but, sometimes I wish that, when people get on the talk show, they would have a lot more knowledge and experience, and maybe somewhat of a bit of engineering background, or even if they don't have that, maybe they could find out from someone, or make try to do something to just to whatever they're putting out there has some kind of serious, background to it.
Get some facts on the subject.
Yeah, you remember, but it's just how I am. You remember when we were growing up, what separations did we have on properties to say, well, this is where my boundaries are, this is where my boundaries are. What did you remember what we had?
Barbed wire fence.
Well, barbed wire and rock stone walls.
Yeah, indeed.
Was they built, you remember them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were they built with any kind of chicken wire?
Not that I remember. They were well placed, one on top of the other.
Exactly. And was they seriously affected when we had any kind of really, really serious bad weather?
Not that I can recall.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right, because that was like a barrier reef. Those rocks, how they were put together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I hear people commenting about, Padian Beach, the hotel there.
Oh, the Hyatt Wall, yeah.
The Hyatt Walls, right? Now, I've seen that somewhere before in my traveling, but I can't remember exactly where it was in, where was that again? Anyway, I'll think about it, but I can't remember exactly where I seen that exact type of stone wall. And, I mean, I was impressed, you know, the engineer, because you have to look at the people that built that hotel, right? It's not everybody can build a hotel in that caliber, the size of that, and the engineering that went into that, and is probably still going into it in order to make sure, you know, that foundation do not give out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful when you're talking about building on sand, because in some cases, depending, sand can probably be just as effective as a piece of rock, right? It may require a little bit that more engineering when it comes to like strata, concrete, and all of this kind of stuff. But, you know, when you get down on top of the sand, it's really, really soft. But when you dig down and you dig down and you keep digging, that sand is as hard and as solid and as packed as any rock.
It's compacted. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's difficult. I mean, I know that, you know, you still have to put in pilings and all of that, because you cannot build a 6-7-story building on that without proper piling, right? So if you go down 40 feet and you don't find a rock, what do? That's where the piling come in. Charles, my point is that if you don't know about something, don't make comments about it. Try to find out if this is something that, you know, that withstand the weather, whatever the case may be to come. I mean, try to find that out before you get there, and just start commenting about things that you don't have a clue from an engineering standpoint what it's all about, how strong it is, how substantial it will it, how will it withhold, you know, types of weather and stuff like that. I mean, these are all the things you need to find out before, you know, you start talking about, you know, this and that. I mean, because to me, it's no sense. I would not come onto this talk show if I had all of it without any type of expertise in anything that I have to bring to the radio or bring to the people of this country. I have to have a certain amount of knowledge, or I'm not coming on there and guess that, well, I think, you know, looking up at the sky, I believe it's night, you know, but come on, it's not night, you know? So, I mean, you know, that's my point. I mean, I like arguments. I like a good argument, but let's have some base to the argument, right? You see, like, you know, I don't care, Charles, who like what I have to say or who don't like it, but, you know, I try to bring positive stuff to your talk show, right?
Well, I appreciate that.
You know, I don't particularly, to be honest with you, at my age and stage in life, I don't really care who like me or don't, once I don't have to go to them and beg for anything, because I am a Trump supporter 100%, right? And what he is trying to do for the American people in that country, I don't think any other president has ever came close to what this man is doing. But yet, people that don't even know this person, know this man, they hate him. They hate him like a ton of salt. Why? I mean, you know.
Well, he seems to be one of those characters. Either you love him or you hate him. It's like it's.
Well, Charles, I knows nothing about this man. All I can do is watch CNN and a couple of the other media stations and how they try to portray, you know, this and that. And I have to try to use my little bit of common sense I have and put two and two together. And most of the time I normally come up with 4, right? But, you know, people, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's no good at anybody coming to me because they had a problem with Charles And they gonna come and tell me because me and them friends also. Well, Charles is the worst person on the face of the earth. You know what I can tell that person, my friend? I can say, you know what? I know Charlo, right? I know from West Bay days. I know from conch shell days, right? In West Bay when we got pelts with the conch shells and all of that. Georgetown boys coming into West Bay, right?
You got that?
Until I find Charles to be the type of person that you are trying to tell me that he really is, then I will say, but until then, I mean, you know, just keep it to yourself, right? Don't let me and you having a falling out over this because, I mean, we're not kids anymore. We're adults, right? So until you do me something, you're the best person, as far as I'm concerned, on the face of the earth. And
that's a good way to be. I mean, you know, you just can't listen to what other people say about someone. You know, you got to find it out for yourself. But
exactly. And
getting back to your point about this wall that people have called about at the Hyatt, right? I got a text yesterday from a listener that I didn't get a chance to get on the air, and he has looked this up, right? And he texted me this. Now listen to this. It says, I think it's gabion basket. Gabion baskets are versatile, durable wire mesh cages filled with rock, stone, or concrete to create flexible, permeable, and cost-effective structures. Primarily used for retaining walls, erosion control, and slope stabilization, they are also popular in landscaping for seeding and planters. And he's saying that is what we have down there at the Hyatt. And yes, they are, you know, the rocks do have this mesh around them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, the people who have engineered and the architects and the people who built that hotel, they're not just slapping, you know, some concrete together. You know, they must know what they're doing. And I'm sure something like that went before planning. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I keep wondering maybe that's the wall that they have there is not really finished. There's more to come on that, right? If you look at it, I mean, for a classy hotel like that, I don't see that being the finished product. That is going to be the face of the, you know, as you drive by, of this, you know, first class hotel.
I understand where you're coming from, Charles. And like I said, I've seen it somewhere before, and I was really impressed with it.
Well, you probably saw the gabion baskets.
Yeah. But that gentleman sounded like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, but he looked it up and sent it to me.
I can't remember where I seen it, like I said earlier, but I was really impressed with it. And when I see them doing it down there, I said, I don't believe it. I just saw this recently, whether it was in Portugal or somewhere I saw it. But I was really impressed because it took me back then to our days of building stone walls. Not me, but my grandfather, and the list goes on, right? And that's what that kind of remind me of. But, I mean, those people are not going to put that there, Charles, unless it's 150% safe. You know, so let's wait and see what the finished product is. Let's wait till 40 years from now, see if anything happens to it. And then if it does, then maybe, you know, we could comment on it and say, well, I don't think it was a good idea. But, you know, just...
Time will tell.
Just keep an open mind sometime about certain things if you don't know about it. And, you know, we'll all be better off. And we need to stop the hate that we have in this world, because it's just too much, and it's not going to take us anywhere in life. And, you know, it's... Anyway, Charles, I think I run my mouth enough, so I'm going to say it.
Thanks for the call.
And I'll speak to you.
You have a good afternoon.
You too. Cheers. And the radio came on.
All right. Take care. Yeah. It's always best to have the facts before you know, we speak out. And over the weekend on Saturday, I did get down to Red Sky at night, down there at the Harkwell, the closing night of K-Fest 2026. And my daughter took me. Yeah, it's nice to have a daughter to take you to these things, right? But had a totally enjoyable evening. I totally enjoyed it. It was, the whole Cultural Foundation grounds out there were well lit and decorated. Lots of crafts people out. You could find a lot of stuff to buy, everything from, jewelry and honey, K-brew. I didn't get any honey, but and some great performances. I got to hear Future Phobia, a young group. They're products of Jason Gilbert's recording school. They went there and then they ended up forming Future Phobia. But some good young musicians I would say they have a sound. They have their own sound, which is what every band wants to have. And Swanky Kitchen Band. Now, I haven't seen Swanky Kitchen Band in a little while. And boy, let me tell you, Saturday night on the outside stage there, they put on a great performance. And, this band playing our traditional music and playing it at, I would dare say, they're playing it at a level that it has never been played before, with all due respect to all that have gone before, Mr. Radley, Duxie, all those, fiddlers from yesteryear. But here we have, a group of 10 with good singers, good musicians, and playing traditional Cayman kitchen band music in a way that, wow, it's performed and orchestrated like, that never been played before, the way that these guys and gals play Cayman kitchen music. And one of the highlights of the show was Third World, former Third World drummer Willie Stewart joined them on stage because they did a tribute to, some of the Caribbean greats that we've lost this year. Among them was Cat Core of Third World. And so they were joined by former Third World drummer Willie Stewart and laid down a good set of reggae. But it was great. They sort of took you, on a musical journey of sorts, because they started the set with, playing the traditional music in their style. They also, what they call taking a big hit, a popular hit, and swankifying it. So if you remember that hit, Let's Give Them Something to Talk About, they swankified that. And wow, what an arrangement. Very impressed. I mean, if they got the right people behind that to produce it and market it, that song could be a big hit. I think that could break out. I mean, the arrangement that they had on that hit and their swankification of it would be recognized as, a hit, in my opinion. And so it was a great night. And oh, by the way, they made an announcement that they have been invited to a big folk festival up in Richmond, Virginia. I think it's going to be happening in October. And apparently, being invited to this festival is not for everybody. If you're invited to this festival in Richmond, Virginia, you are very much respected for your performance and, the music that you play. And, they've had some great reactions from places that they played in the States. So here they are again going to this big festival in Richmond. So congratulations to them. But it was a great night. I actually had, I guess, a sort of ultimate Cayman experience, because while listening to them, I had got some food. I got some turtle meat. And so I'm kind of touchy about buying turtle meat when you're just out like that, But I got some reassurances from a friend of mine who said they'd eaten it, and they said, yeah, it's good. So I, had my turtle meat, breadfruit, plantain, cornbread. Listening to Swanky play, drinking a K-brew. Totally Cayman culturified. Turtle meat, kitchen music, and, a K-brew. 100% Caymanian experience. But congratulations to Miss Rosie and the crew at Cayman National Cultural Foundation. Put on a great night down there. And it was also very nice that, the crowd that was there. There was older folks and the very youngest, children running around, Caymanians, expats, everybody just there having a great time. Nobody trying to prove anything. Everybody just enjoying the vibe and having a great night. So congratulations to everybody that made that possible, because I didn't hear anyone with any kind of complaints about the show down there. It was a great night. If you couldn't make it, you should have made it, because I think it had a little bit of something for everybody there, and we look forward to next year, even bigger and better, right? And these kind of things, it just makes you feel good when you go there and you see what can come out of our own backyard. Great music, homegrown music coming out of the Cayman Islands, and it's something about listening, especially to Swanky Kitchen Band and that music, that it's not just making you move your feet or move to the rhythm, but it's something about it that touches your soul. You feel that's something extra. The vibe is just there, that you're connected to it. It's connected to you. It's something special, and I really appreciated it. It's 1:30. That means we've got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking nutrition. Are you eating right?
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
How much you need to move depends on which stage of life you're in. Children and adolescents ages 16 to 17 should engage in 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity daily, such as running, climbing, and jumping rope. Whereas seniors aged 65 and over should aim for at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity, such as brisk walking, along with strength training and balance activities at least 2 days a week. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Log on to gov.ky/MoveItCayman to join the challenge today.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the motoring public of emergency works to repair a main line along Eastern Avenue from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. today, Tuesday, March 24th. To facilitate the works, a section of the eastbound lane of Eastern Avenue in the vicinity of the Eastern Avenue Godfrey Nixon Way intersection will be temporarily closed. Eastbound traffic on Eastern Avenue will be diverted to Godfrey Nixon Way. Flagmen will be on site to guide traffic flow. Motorists are strongly encouraged to drive with caution while in the area. A water service interruption may be necessary to facilitate the repair. Customers should visit the Water Authority's website, www.waterauthority.ky, for updates on service interruptions caused by the emergency works. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it repairs its infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Do you know a Caymanian living and working overseas who's doing big things and making us proud? Cayman Connection has officially opened nominations for the 2026 Making Waves Awards, celebrating Caymanians who are making a positive impact around the world. If you're thinking about somebody right now, it's no time like the present to nominate them and give them the recognition they deserve. The process is simple and doesn't take too long. Just visit caymanconnection.org/nominate. Nominations close April 13th. It's time to big up our people. Do it today.
Happy 50th anniversary Radio Cayman. What an enormous legacy that has been made by Radio Cayman. God bless all of the employees, past and present, that have made Radio Cayman special. So as we celebrate this 50th anniversary, as we celebrate improvements and renovations to Radio Cayman, let's be thankful for the first 50 years, and Lord willing, ingenuity willing, collaboration willing, another 50 for Radio Cayman. Happy anniversary.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. This is Nutrition Month, and in this segment we learn a little about eating healthy, which we all should do, but sometimes we find it a little challenging. And joining me to tell us more about eating healthy, we have Mia Zurita. She's a nutritionist at HSA, and also Tamara Riley, another nutritionist with HSA. Ladies, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
So tell us, what is Nutrition Month all about?
Nutrition Month is a campaign that encourages everyone to try to remember to eat healthy and make healthier food choices and develop sustainable eating habits this month and every month, really.
So what are you telling people? What are you emphasizing?
We're emphasizing just good health, focusing on the types of foods that you actually eat to maintain good health and just for overall longevity and to sustain a healthy lifestyle.
So the theme for the month is discover the power of nutrition. What's behind that?
Well, that's encouraging people to make or explore different ways that they can make healthier choices throughout the day and throughout the month and throughout the year, really. and try to improve their overall well-being through the power of nutrition. You can take it so many different ways as well.
And
go ahead.
Yes, and the fact is that, when we talk about power, it's something that gives you strength. So indeed, when we talk about the power of nutrition, we're looking at how food can really strengthen you overall, how you can use food to just maintain not just a healthy lifestyle, but in disease prevention. And that's the most important thing. Disease prevention and overall just ensuring that you have a longer life. We were looking at longevity overall.
Exactly. And as well as disease prevention, trying to improve our focus when we're at school for our kids and sleep better at night and things like that. We've got all sorts of different things that you can do or ways that we can improve our diet to try to help with those things.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your work. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, for me, overall, I work in public health. So my job encompasses working in the community. So in areas like this where we do nutrition awareness. Otherwise, I work in home care where we deal with patients who have various non-communicable diseases and may be non-ambulated. So they can't come to the clinic and they might be on tube feed and need that extra nutrition, what we would consider medical nutrition therapy formulas that they would have to be fed via tube. I also see patients in the community clinic settings where if they do have any, not just non-communicable diseases, but it could be communicable diseases as well, we try to ensure that they can live longer while sustaining, in terms of sustaining their health with the types of foods they eat from in terms of my job practice.
And Mia?
So I'm I primarily see outpatients. So my title is the outpatient nutritionist or dietitian. And so I have lots of clinics at the hospital as well as I do have some at various like West Bay Clinic and Boddentown. And I also see a lot of the dialysis patients as well to kind of improve their nutrition factors.
What do you see generally in the community? I mean, are we eating bad for the most part?
For the most part, I wouldn't use the word bad. I just think that people are not really making the most healthiest choices. Overall, though, one research that was published by the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, between 1991 to 2021, it shows that people are actually choosing to eat better. People are choosing to eat healthy, and I think it has a lot to do with not just campaigning, but the fact that people are actually learning more. So I think with the advent of globalization, just the fact that people have access to education more readily, I think people are choosing to do better with their choices. So in our community, we could do better because sometimes we have the knowledge, we have the education, but are we using it to empower ourselves as we should? Not necessarily. So I think that's where we could do better in the community.
People who live on a tight budget. Is it harder for them to get the right food?
Absolutely. It's definitely more of a challenge is what I would try to call it if we can. Budgetary concerns are a big part of why people might not choose a healthier option a lot of the time. But there are lots of ways that we can improve our nutrition without hitting the budget too hard. We can try and choose things like seasonal foods, try to choose local if you can. And then we can always use things like frozen vegetables and fruits to boost the nutrition without really hurting the pocket too much.
Talk about that a little bit. Frozen fruits and vegetables compared to fresh vegetables. Because, I mean, I've heard that frozen can be pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact is that frozen vegetables are just what we call blanched vegetables, where they are very, very high temperature water. They're introduced into that water and then it's shocked via ice therapy, basically. So it's cooked to a certain point slightly and then frozen. So it does retain a lot of the micronutrients,
very little is leached from the vegetable itself. And so it's a better choice over some other processed type vegetables. So if we were to choose the best of the evils, then it would be good to go frozen.
So, and that's a good way to get more for your money?
Yes, it is a good way to get more for your money because you find that it's preserved more for you in the sense. So because it is blanched, it will last a lot longer if it's frozen. And so you find that when they come ice packed and frozen, they can sell it at a lower cost. Whereas to ship fresh vegetables, some of them are going to get spoiled along the way. They are coming from various areas around the world. So people, companies and organizations planting, farmers will lose more. So they're going to charge you more. And because they don't want to lose, I want to keep my farm going. So therefore, I'm going to charge you more for those type of vegetables because it's going to take a lot to get it to you.
What other challenges do you see everyday folks running into that you encounter in the clinics and so forth?
I'll take hidden added sugars is a big one. So a lot of people need to watch out for added sugars for general health, as well as if someone happens to have any sugar problems. They are very sneaky about getting added sugars into things. There's lots of different names for added sugar. It's a big challenge trying to teach people how to look out for them and try to reduce them as best as possible, because a lot of the cheaper items might tend to have a little bit more added sugar.
And what about salt? I mean, I tried to control my salt at one time in my life, and it's amazing. It's everywhere.
That's true. The fact is that, yes, because salt is an alternative preservative as well. And so if they can use it to preserve certain foods, they're going to, because remember, the idea is to increase shelf life. And so they're going to find different ways to increase shelf life without compromising the integrity of what they're trying to sell. And so salt is one way to do it. But if we could find foods that the shelf life is less, and the salt content is less, we might end up paying just a slight tad bit more, but at the end of the day, it reduces our sodium intake. So I think that's one way to go about it, because yes, they do use it as a preservative method, and it's just, remember, the commercial industry is not really for the people, it's for revenue. And so with me trying to make money, I'm going to find ways to get the things on the shelf. And so I personally tell my patients, it's really a selfish world, and you just have to look out for yourself. The big farmer and the man out there who is trying to make revenues to drive a Rolls Royce is not thinking about you when they're making something to put in a can. What they're thinking about is the revenue. And so you have to think about your health first.
How about traditional foods? Is that a challenge when you go and try to educate people about what they should be eating?
It can definitely be a challenge, but I know that a lot of us usually try to figure out ways that we can incorporate our cultural or traditional foods in a way that is more healthful for our bodies. So maybe just adjusting the portion size, maybe adjusting a little bit of how we're preparing things. Those can make a big impact on our overall health.
And one other thing with the traditional, because there's something that I was reading about, just Caymanian and indigenous foods. I think we need to push our children to learn and understand them more. If you ask a child, like, I have a custard apple tree that I bought at the agriculture department. My children didn't know what this was. Yeah. When it started to bear fruit, it's soft on the inside. We're not talking about sweet sop. We're talking about custard apple. You get a spoon, you scoop it out. It looks a little bit ice creamy. They didn't know what this is. And you find that a lot of the children in schools, they don't know the indigenous fruits. Yeah. They don't know the sour sop. They don't know the custard apple. They don't know the sweet sop. They don't know some things like, our vegetables like chocho and those kind of things. So you find that when it comes to getting our children in the farms and getting them on these field trips to learn about indigenous foods and how healthy they are, you will find that perhaps they will be more inclined to want to have them more. But it's really a learning curve that we really need to cross.
We have to take a little break here, but we'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides
Yo.
urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Expecting a baby? Protect their first months from serious breathing illness and hospitalization with the RSV vaccine. The updated national immunization schedule now introduces an RSV vaccine for pregnant women between 28 and 36 weeks. When you get vaccinated, protective antibodies pass to your baby before birth. Vaccination also builds herd immunity, reducing the spread of infection in the community. Keep your newborn safe. Ask your healthcare provider about the RSV vaccine today. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, Environment and Sustainability and the Public Health Department.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
The Ministry of Education and Training invites eligible Caymanians to apply for a local scholarship for the 2026-2027 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Thursday, 30th of April, 2026. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Training.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We're talking good nutrition here. And we do have a caller on the line, so let's see what they're saying. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Am I in the air?
You certainly are.
Hey, all right. Charles, it's Notch. How are you?
All right, and you?
So far, so good enough. We could do with some rain in West Bay. Good to dry, man. You know?
So you got a nutrition question or comment?
No. I heard this was open line that I was.
No. We're talking nutrition right now.
No, since we're talking nutrition, I'll Charles, the lady there is so right. I agree with her 100%. I mean, our kids nowadays know more about what's inside a Whopper with cheese than they would know how to identify certain local fruit. And definitely that's something that we all should be ashamed of ourselves for. We never passed on any of the traditions. Our kids nowadays spend most of their time inside playing video games and taking part in anything that's outdoor, like how we grew up traditionally as our heritage in Cayman. You know, you get on your bicycle and you'd ride about and it's mango season. So you wouldn't go home to eat. You'd spend all your time eating fruit in the bush.
True.
But what I want to say is more something that I really need to get off my chest today. Sorry that I hijacked the nutrition show. Although it is about nutrition, it's about humanity. I've noticed that there's a lot going on right now in Cuba. And I don't
Notch, hold on a second. If you're going to go there, when we do the news, after the news, we can have an open discussion.
All right. Okay.
Can you call back after the news?
I'll try to. I'll come outside, try to plant some food. So.
Okay.
All right. I'm with the nutrition.
All right.
Apologies, lady. I'm with the nutrition. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt. All right.
No, if you're going to go about Cuba, let's do it after the news. So, yeah, I mean, people did eat a lot of different fruits here in Cayman, and I guess everywhere in years gone by compared to what we do now.
That's true. Especially, you find that a lot of, as you would see, where if you go to some countries, they label some of the things like, for instance, tropical fruits. And so we understand that people are in love with tropical fruits, but it's just that we don't really focus on how not just pretty they are, but also how healthy they are for us and our children. And I think that's one of the things that we really, even in this National Nutrition Month, we need to look at how healthy our fruits and local vegetables are for not just us but our children, and how this can help us to live a longer and healthier life.
Tell us about the services that the HSA's clinical dietitians or dietetics and nutrition team provide.
Well, we provide quite a myriad of services where we look at, as we mentioned before earlier, that we look at all sorts of non-communicable diseases, and we provide medical nutrition therapy support. So, for instance, there are patients who will need special diets for managing certain types of illnesses, and so we offer that level of support that they need, and we go clinically into their blood work, because what people don't understand is the foods you eat also measures in the blood. And so whatever it is that you're consuming, we can find measurements in the blood that is associated with what you're eating. And it's the same thing with the brain. The brain is approximately 60% fat. So the types of fats you eat will also be the types of fats that is in your brain. So if you eat unhealthy fats, then you're going to have an unhealthy brain. And so we need to understand that what we provide is an understanding that medical nutrition therapy is a form of medicinal nutrition, that we focus on food as medicine and not just medicine as food.
Sometimes, certain people that they're always saying, "Oh, I'm so tired." Does that have to do with their diet?
It absolutely can. It could be other different factors, but it could be that we're not getting adequate nutrition. It could be that we're not moving as much as we should, or as much as would be best for ourselves. We could be not getting enough fruits and vegetables. There's so many different factors that could be impacting that.
Just to add to that too is probably just adding to what you said, Mia, it's sometimes it's a sense of sluggishness, because the fact is that not only stress bears us down, but sometimes it's the type of food. The more saturated our food is with certain types of unhealthy nutrients and fats, is the more we're going to feel weighed down by a certain burden. It's almost like our stomach becomes a burden to us. And so we really need to look at what we put in there, because yes, it can definitely make you feel lethargic and sluggish all the time.
What types of patients do you typically work with on a day-to-day basis?
So many different ones. We could be seeing someone as young as a baby, or even someone who's pregnant, all the way through to the elderly. If we could be seeing all sorts of non-communicable diseases, it could be anything, even constipation, or just wanting to eat healthier, so like more of a general wellness kind of visit. There's so many different types of patients that we might see.
Diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, end-stage renal disease, as in Mia's case mostly, people who need renal dialysis. Then you have patients who are, for various reasons, may need to be on a tube feed. So you have patients who have had a stroke and unable to eat by mouth, and they end up on whatever type of tube feeds, because there are various types of tube feeds, so they need nutritional support. Then you have babies as well who do need those same exact type of support as well. Then you have children who are undernourished, malnourished, malnutrition. And malnutrition doesn't mean that you're very tiny or skinny. Malnutrition is just bad nutrition. Then you have people who may have gastrointestinal difficulties that need support as well. People with IBD, irritable bowel disease or irritable bowel syndrome. We could go on for days talking about what we see in the clinics. Sometimes I've seen like a mixture, like one person just have like 15 different things going on. I'm talking about not just the disease cases, but also the complications of the disease. And you sit there for a second with the patient and they look at you and you look at them and they shake their head, and you know that they know that this is a lot.
Well, what's your relationship with the other health workers?
We work as a team with all sorts of different therapy services or doctors or the nurses in the inpatient setting. We work with pretty much everybody.
So, I mean, are you taking, does an order come down to you to do something for a particular patient, or how does that work?
So in an outpatient setting, if someone is going to see their GP or regular doctor, they might see something in the blood work or something, or a symptom or something, and the doctor might say, "Oh, you should go see the dietitian," and they'll drop an order, and then they'll get an appointment with one of us. Or if it's the inpatient setting, they'll drop another order, and then Simone, the clinical or hospital dietitian, would run on up there and visit.
So you might have a patient, like for instance in your case, Mia, you might have a patient who would have seen a nephrologist, whom they realize that their kidney function is not up to par, and so they'll be referred to see the dietitian, nutritionist for management. Then you have a patient who may go into general practice and their blood sugar or their blood pressure is not optimal, and they would also be referred. Then somebody may go to see the cardiologist, to do a stress test, and their ECG or EKG comes back abnormal. They also need to see a nutritionist. So various clinical, we all work it's a multidisciplinary team that,
So what's the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist?
So one of the things that I like to say is that all dietitians are nutritionists, but not all nutritionists are dietitians.
Sure.
So when you're talking about a dietitian, there's a very particular criteria that they must meet to be called a registered dietitian. So for me, as I studied in the U.S., now you have to have a minimum of a master's degree to even be thought about for the internship. And then there's a 1,200-hour internship as well as a board exam. So it's a lot of very specific training that goes into it.
Criteria.
Exactly. Whereas nutritionist is a little bit more vague. There's lots of routes someone could take to become a nutritionist, but the registered dietitian is who you would want to go see if you were looking for medical nutrition therapy for sure, as well as many other things.
So I misintroduced you when I called you a nutritionist.
Well, they use it's a broad term, and so most people usually just say, once they know that you deal with nutrition, they just say you're a nutritionist. But for us, we're actually registered dietitian because we have done lots of clinical hours of in terms of clinical internship in order to be considered a registered dietitian.
So a dietitian is, I guess, more medical?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you see a blood work that certain things, you know how to react to that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We provide personalized nutrition guidance or that medical nutrition therapy, which is based on evidence-based practice and things like that.
Is this an area that, young people here in Cayman should think about getting into?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually, the projected growth is quite impressive, really. That's actually one of the reasons why I got into it in the first place.
Yeah. So what does it take?
Like in terms of studying, like when you're in university?
Right. So
come out of high school, what kind of
so in
high school?
In high school you can do your 5 subjects, which include the sciences, which more than likely must include chemistry, and you should do biology as well, and then you can do your regular math and English, and you can do some other science subjects, which we always recommend. Why? Because I've seen persons in terms of the intern interns who have come to us who wanted to do nutrition, and I've always said to them, make sure that whatever you're doing in high school includes the chemistries, because one thing with doing this program in university, there is a lot of chemistry. We're talking inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, microbiology, physical chemistry. There is so much chemistry involved. And so that is one of the reasons that they need to do lots of chemistry if they're going to try to do this program.
So I see now why that difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist. Right? You're science people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to make any closing remarks that you wanted to make sure people hear.
There was one thing I thought we would have talked about, which is one of the, they ask, can nutrition really help to manage diseases? And, it's something that I was looking at, and it was talking about the fact that a poor diet is responsible for over 30% of cardiovascular deaths each year. And so that is one of the main reasons why nutrition, yes, can definitely manage diseases. And, also the fact that just by adding at least 1.5 to 2.5 cups of vegetables in your diet daily can decline your cardiovascular risk by up to 28.5%, your cancer risk as well. So the fact is that if you also reduce your weight by at least 13.2 kilograms if you're obese, you can actually reduce your blood sugar by 1.4%. And these were all published by the National Institute of Health. So yes, indeed, nutrition is something that is not just practice, but it's life, and we need it.
So get your veggies, lose some weight.
That's a short way to put it.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming in. It was my pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Time to check in with the newsroom.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce will hold its annual general meeting and Chamber Champions presentation on Wednesday, April 15th at 3 p.m., they announced today. The event will take place at the Grand Cayman Marriott Resort. The event marks the close of the Chamber's 16th anniversary year and includes the election of officers. Registration is required. In international news, scientists are using artificial intelligence and satellite radar to track dangerous ground movement beneath a mountain village at high risk of a landslide. In an interview, a University of Melbourne mathematician said AI analysis of radar imagery revealed a large unstable area right beneath a village, where people live and farm on a slope already scarred by cracks in homes and tilted trees. The researcher says machine learning can scan vast amounts of data and pick up tiny ground movements that humans would struggle to detect, offering time to plan monitoring and evacuation routes. Landslides and avalanches kill thousands worldwide each year, but researchers say AI systems are now helping them identify thousands of high-risk slopes across the globe. In other international news, according to the BBC, the Philippines has become the world's first country to declare a state of national energy emergency in response to the conflict in the Middle East. Under the order, a committee has been formed to oversee the orderly distribution of fuel, food, medicines, and other essential goods. The declaration will remain in place for 1 year unless it is extended or lifted by the president. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. A quick look at the weather. It's 82 degrees here in Georgetown. Wind out of the east-northeast at almost 16 knots. And today's forecast calling for partly cloudy skies straight through the rest of the afternoon and into the tonight. Wind expected to be out of the northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas moderate to rough with wave heights running at 4 to 6 feet. Boaters, take note. A small craft advisory is in effect, so keep that in mind. And we're into the home stretch here, the last 25 minutes of the show, and it's open line now. Notch, you ready to talk about Cuba? Yes, open line. You can give me a call, 1-800-534-8255. That's courtesy of Flo, and 949-8037, 949-6990, and the WhatsApp number, 925-3261. We can talk about just about anything. So pick up the phone, give me a shout. And here's a WhatsApp message. I was talking about Swanky and how I enjoyed myself the Saturday night there. And this listener says, "Hi, Chalo. Yes, I and others go along with Swanky, too, on their trips. So I guess they're going to be headed to Richmond. And that's because it's our own born Caymanians in this band." So, Sam said the other night they have followers who, when they go and perform overseas, there are Caymanians who come along and they have their, Caymanian cheering section in the audience. And another WhatsApp text here. We're back to the wall at the Hyatt. This is an interesting text here, though. Hi, Mr. Glidden. I've been listening to so many people calling in about those wire baskets that are being used at the Hyatt to build the wall. I would like to say that those wire baskets are nothing new. I've seen them being used in Trinidad many years now in building bridges and retaining walls. They form part of the foundation of the wall and will be covered over with concrete when completed. For example, in Trinidad and Tobago, yes. And that makes a lot of sense. And as I was talking with one caller yesterday and again today, what we're seeing there could never just be the finished product. I mean, it just doesn't go along with, a classy Hyatt hotel. And as that text was just saying, that's going to form, those rocks are forming the inner core and the foundation, and then it's going to be, finished over with concrete and have that solid core of rock in there to make it really strong. We do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Well, I guess you're going to get some cement out of those stones.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I mean...
Well, I said that yesterday. That if they're going to do any cement on it, they got to do a lot of steel and then cement, But we'll just have to wait and see. Like the lady said yesterday, let's got to wait and see. Let's not judge. And if it's not working out properly, then we have to blame planning. Can't blame the investor. Got to blame planning. But we'll leave that alone until that time comes. Well, Mr. Glidden, I want to call you for 2 weeks ago. I was at the Georgetown Hospital. I had a procedure done. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say The service was immaculate. From you enter in to you will enter back out. They took very good care of me.
Glad to hear that.
So I just took it upon myself and took them some treats today. But really and truly, they was good. They was very attentive. They was caring. They was constantly checking on you. Even the doctor, he was in and out checking. And what was taking too long for me to be there for so long, I don't have no pressure problem, but my pressure just didn't want to go down. And I had to stay there for 5 hours. So around 3 something, I said to the lady, try the other arm. No, before I started, I tried that arm. I asked her to just give that arm a break because the machine was on from morning. You know what I mean? It's after 3 now. So I said, take it off for a while, and then she took it off and put it back on, but the pressure didn't change. So I said, you know what? Put it on the left arm. And she put it on the left arm. Because it was going to send me home, the pressure wouldn't go down. So she put it on the left arm, and the pressure started going down slowly but surely. And they said, well, you going home? I said, Lord Jesus, thank you. But, I mean, the attention that they was given there 2 weeks ago, it was super duper. And I really take my hat off to those guys up there at the HSA hospital. It's called Anthony Eden Hospital now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just want to give them a big shout out and really appreciate them and Dr. Matthew and Nurse Rankin and Dr. Rankin and Mr. Smith and so many more and some Mr. Gale. And you know what he told me when he was doing the ID? He said, okay, this is going to be, I think he said this is going to be a little Georgetown mosquito bite. This is not going to be the East End bite. By the time he stick it was already, and he had a needle in, and I'm like, that really a short bite, So it wasn't no mosquito bite at all. He was just trying to be jokey about the situation because nobody wants them IVs in the arm there and so forth. I'm not crazy about him, but he made it very comfortable and they were very gentle and caring and concerned up there, I must say.
So tell me something. Are you going to take the survey? Which
I know you was going to ask me.
You knew I was going to ask that?
Yes, I know. And I'm not going to take the survey because they couldn't get a better survey than what I'm saying right now. The whole world is hearing.
Yeah, but they need that in the data that they,
Well, they got it. I know Ms. Catherine will be listening to the radio came on this afternoon when everything is over. Are they still in the house?
Pardon?
Is the house still going on?
No, it's finished.
It's finished? This is a question I want to ask you too. But anyhow, I just want to say shout out to the HSA staff at HSA. Stellar job and attention that they give me. I treated me like I was a little 9-month-old baby, and it was greatly appreciated. Because some teens is not very comfortable, and they were there trying in every way to comfort me. Unbelievable.
And that makes a big difference when you're going to a hospital, doesn't it? I mean, just the personal care.
They really did everything they could do to keep me comfortable until it was time for me to go home that evening. But getting back to the MLAs, tell me something. Who do we call when we want to talk to these MLAs? Because then the MPs.
Well, they're all supposed to have an office in their constituency, but they got money to do it.
I don't know. I don't. The people that I've been calling, can't get no number for no office to leave, no message with no secretary. Because let me tell you something, really and truly, I don't know how many times of the year they go into the house, but
they have to meet at least 4 times.
They could at least return a call and say, hey, I can't talk to you this year because I'm busy. Just say something. Just don't ignore the individual that's calling. You ain't calling to beg for anything, but please answer your phone or return the call.
So you have the personal number of your MP?
I'm not even talking about my MP from my area. I'm talking about another district.
Okay.
I'm talking about another district, and I'm about to contact him now too. So I will be contacting my MP. But I was trying to get hold of another MP, and boy, just can't seem to get any answer. So I was just wondering if the House is over with all their meetings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to hit on West Bay for a second. I am so impressed with what Miss Julia Hunter is doing down there in West Bay.
Yeah?
I don't know who else is behind her with it, if it's just her area. I don't know the areas.
What is she
You know
doing?
what I mean? Well, that big piece of property was on the right-hand side when you turn into Northwest Point Road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're going to widen that now and make that into part of the road, and giving you more they're putting a big sidewalk, on the left-hand side, go around the beach area. And I couldn't look too long, and it seemed like the beach gonna get like more property from what I gathered. You understand? But that piece of property was on the left, on the right-hand side going in. That is being used now, and it's looking cool and nice. And I was down West Bay a couple of weeks ago when she was down there with her guys talking and so forth. And she had a video came up with this some dive tech. No dive tech. I'm not gonna say tech. Some dive people was down there that normally using the dock. So
right.
So she came there and she made I swing in there for a few seconds, and she could see it was a taxi, and she made a video that day and was saying about how this company is practically taking over that spot there, and they had tons.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on Facebook, yeah.
And let me tell you something. I went back down a couple of days later, and not one of those trucks was parked on that property. Not one. I went down there some months ago, and one of them came in, and believe me, I could not get back into my car door. It was unbelievable. What took me to get back into my car door? I couldn't believe it.
What do you mean, they were parked too close to you or something?
They was parked too close to me. And where the guy disappeared to, I don't even have a clue. The kind of visitors asked him, "Where's the driver?" I said, "I don't even have a clue where they're going to." Couldn't he swing in there so quickly and disappear?
Mm-hmm.
And I was up on the grounds with my people, and when we came back, then I had a problem getting in. I had to squeeze myself in. It was unbelievable. But what's going on there right now? Looking good. And then down there, what is Papa Top? Was a bar, but I think it's a liquor store now. All down there is getting all these new speed bumps and pedestrian crossing, and it's looking good.
Well, she's taking care of business there.
Yeah, she is. I hope the rest of the MPs is taking notes and going to come into the other, making sure that they're going to fix up the area too. Because I need to call Mr. Panton. I'll call an email. I need to call Mr. Panton and find out what is new for the Newlands area. But I ain't see nothing going on up there, and I hope you're listening. No disrespect, Mr. Panton. I still love you. But I got to find out what's going to happen to Newlands. Everybody getting pretty. And I don't see nothing in Newlands. No more than that new bypass that they add on to the Linford Prison. I mean, the Crichton Boulevard there, that don't have nothing to do with in the Newlands, that residential section coming in. That's a cross road to go east. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
So I hope that's not...
And they're going to be, come September, they're going to be working on that full-fledged.
Yes, so it's a lot going on.
Listen, I have to break in on you because I got to squeeze a break in here before 2:30, and I got a caller hanging on, okay?
All right, cool.
All right,
Cool,
you take care. Good to hear from you.
Good.
Caller, hang in there. I'll be with you right after this break.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the motoring public of emergency works to repair a main line along Eastern Avenue from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. today, Tuesday, March 24th. To facilitate the works, a section of the eastbound lane of Eastern Avenue in the vicinity of the Eastern Avenue Godfrey Nixon Way intersection will be temporarily closed. Eastbound traffic on Eastern Avenue will be diverted to Godfrey Nixon Way. Flagmen will be on site to guide traffic flow. Motorists are strongly encouraged to drive with caution while in the area. A water service interruption may be necessary to facilitate the repair. Customers should visit the Water Authority's website, www.waterauthority.ky, for updates on service interruptions caused by the emergency works. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it repairs its infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from April 13 to 17 at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Good day, farmers and valued customers. The Department of Agriculture advises that the Commercial Center, Plant Nursery, and Cayman Brac office will close early on Wednesday, March 25th to facilitate a team training session. All listed locations will close at 12:30 p.m. Normal operations will resume on the next business day. We appreciate your understanding and continued support.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We do have a caller hanging in there, so let's see what's on his mind or her mind. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon. Charles?
Yes.
How you doing, Nudge?
You're back. Yes.
I was listening to your last caller, and I was thinking to myself that it looks like the only thing we'll ever get out of government resources is new roads. Every district wants theirs, and so I guess Roads Authority got a lot of work to do. And I had a lot of money to spend. Yeah. I wonder if we realize that the more we create all of these nice aesthetic roadways and stuff, that we're really just encouraging more development to come in. Which is something I think all Caymanians realize that we've overdeveloped.
You open up land, people are probably going to build on it sooner or later.
But that's it. That's what I'm saying, is that we're in this race to develop what, the pulse of the country is slow down. It's too fast for us, There's too much going on, too much all at once. Let's take our time, and instead we're still going ahead, and like I said, by developing the infrastructures, we make ourselves more attractive for outside investment. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's either we're going to lose the quaint aesthetics of the districts to have them all look like a New York Avenue, which encourages foreign investment, or we're just going to leave them the way they are.
But you realize some of those, the eastern districts, a lot of people are up there are the ones that are wanting that road, right?
Oh, well, I'm not saying nay. I'm saying that I don't think we're aware or we're paying attention to the fact that what we want is actually helping to bring about the demise of a lot of things that we also claim we want to preserve.
Unintended consequences.
Absolutely. Sometimes we're just looking at what we want, and we're not thinking about what we're losing to get what we want. So I said that to bring that food for thought in, because I was listening to that caller and thinking to myself, well, yeah, that is kind of like the Cayman mentality. We see something happen in Westbury, so we want it in Bordentown, we want it here, we want it there, and then the whole country looks like Miami. It doesn't look like West Bay anymore. But anyway, I was calling about that. I was calling about trying to hopefully invoke some conscience among whoever is in positions of power and in the country at large. Cayman has always we've always prided ourselves on being God-fearing people and good neighbors and good, humane people, and it's kind of what's got us in the mess we're in, but it's who we are. And I find it so strange, so ironic that Cuba next door is being starved to death right on our doorstep, and we don't see any intervention from the government or anyone standing up saying, in the community saying, well, why aren't we doing something about this? Not the church, not anyone. And I think it's sad, because I remember when Honduras had a problem, we sent a plane load right away with goods down to help them. When Jamaica had a problem, we sent a plane load and money down to help them. And here it is, our neighbors to the north, who Cayman has a heritage and a history with. We don't seem to do anything because of political expedience. It's like, and I understand the politics with America and all that, but I mean, I would like to see our representatives stand up for the humanitarian cause and say to America, and they're like, no, you can't force us to starve our neighbors just because you got some political beef with them. It's just not right. It's not morally right. It's not, I'm sure it's not legally right. It's not ethically right. It's just wrong. Big, bold, capital letters, wrong. And I'm just wondering, when it is that we're going to have that wake-up moment to say, well, enough is enough. Is it when there's outbreaks of something in Cuba and the people are dying by the thousands, or is it when we have to accommodate so many refugees that we're bursting at the seams because they're running for a better life? I mean, it's just, I have to say something about it, because I've been looking at it for a while and hoping that I'd read something in the paper or hear something that the government was planning to send some type of aid,
Mm-hmm.
So even at the very least, to Isle of Pine, where we know so many West Bay families are connected to, much less the rest of the island at large. But it just feels so wrong to see all that's going on now with this new Republican government with Donald Trump at the lead, and they're getting involved in so many things and doing so many things that with previous administrations would have been questionable. It'd have been big red flags and everybody would have been shouting, and now it's like nobody says anything.
But just to understand you're talking about, as far as
the embargo,
any Cayman get involvement, is to just send relief,
a humanitarian gesture.
Yeah.
Not to get involved in their politics, not to pick sides and choose, which we've never done.
Okay.
Which we've never done.
Yeah, well, we're not in a position to, as a British overseas territory, getting involved in international, conflicts.
But we have always given humanitarily
Mm-hmm.
to our neighbors. We have always done that. Cuba gets hit by a hurricane, we go to their aid. And granted, like there's just so much pettiness going on. Like I read the other day that in Barbados, they were admonishing Barbados for having Cuba doctors, and their prime minister had to stand up and say, "No, man, I'm not gonna let you meddle and interfere in that. No, we've benefited from having Cuba doctors here, and we'll continue to have them. We're glad to have them." And I just think somebody needs to stand up and represent to show that we're not all cowards, or we're not all cowering to the American way. Because if we do that, then we might as well be America. We might as well be, it depends. Instead of being, even the UK stands up or stood up.
Well, they're in the position to. They're in a position to. But not, I'm over time.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
But
thank you
for the call. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Take care. It's 2:30. That means I got to exit. Thank you all for tuning in. Those who picked up the phone, sent messages, thank you for communicating. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.